Flash flooding for the south in the Tennessee Valley, isolated scattered storms in the Great Lakes, Arizona, New Mexico, tropical storm Erin, and again the return of wildfire smoke from Minnesota and Wisconsin. Good morning, I'm meteorologist Pew. Today is August 12th, 2025. Starting with flash flooding, the Weather Prediction Center has issued a slight risk or a 2 out of 4 from the Florida Panhandle to Louisiana, and also another one in the Tennessee Valley. And in both these places, we may see rainfall totals in the next 24 hours, 3 inches or greater. Now for severe weather, we only have a marginal risk in the Great Lakes area and also from Arizona to New Mexico. And what this entails is that both areas may see an isolated wind event of 60 miles per hour for some cells, and we may see a really small isolated hail event for storms that are initiating in Wisconsin. By the time this video is being posted, the convection that's happening in southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois should move away and dissipate, but we may see redevelopment of storms in mid-Wisconsin and northeast Illinois that's going to travel eastward. And models are suggesting that this is going to happen later in the afternoon around 4 p.m. Central Time. For Arizona and New Mexico, it looks like storms are going to start initiating mid-state and travel southward around 1 p.m. Mountain Time. For the tropics, as of yesterday, we have Tropical Storm Erin, and this is going to travel in the Atlantic westward very slowly. And we may see our first major hurricane or a Category 3 or higher by Sunday. So far, most models are indicating no direct impact to Puerto Rico, but it's getting a little too close for comfort. And by next week, we'll have a much better idea of how close it's going to be to the East Coast. So it's definitely going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on. And then for smoke, unfortunately for Minnesota and Wisconsin, you're going to have another round of wildfire smoke to the surface. And I know yesterday I said that was going to dissipate, which it did, but this is a totally different wave. So why this is all happening, if we look at 300 millibars away up in the troposphere at the jet stream, we have a trough that's pulling in northwesterly winds where the vicinity of the Canada fires are, and it's pulling it south. So if we look back at the trough, we have one really nice curvature, but also a jet, and we're going to have a positive vorticity somewhere around here. And what's going to happen is because the relative motion of this jet is going from west to east, on the east side of this vorticity maximum, we're going to call that positive vorticity advection because it's going into that area, which basically means in this area, we're going to have more upward motion. So on the opposite end, on the west side, we're going to have negative vorticity advection, which means more sinking motion, which is why in the upper atmosphere, all this smoke is going to be going downward. Okay, so for the severe weather, we're going to have a really weak cold front that's going to be coming through from Wisconsin to Illinois. But what might trigger the storms before this cold front comes in is a dry line from Wisconsin all the way to central Illinois. And this may be due to the line of storms that happened last night and this morning. And if we take a look at satellite imagery, we can see that clouds are breaking up, which is going to give us more sunshine, more diurnal heating, and more surface heating, more instability. And with the help of the sun, it's going to help evaporate all the moisture from the soil and the plants, which is going to increase the dew points in any of the areas that had these lines of storms. And on top of that, we have southwesterly winds, and that's going to help evac the warm moist air from the south to these areas. Now looking at the southeast, we still have that low pressure in the Gulf that's just recycling all that moisture and bringing it to the southeast. And we're going to have south to southwesterly winds going into the Tennessee Valley. And because we have the apps over here, we're going to have upward slope or orographic lift, and that's going to help promote upward motion to produce these thunderstorms. And that's why we may see